So, gang, these videos are not how-tos. None of the videos I put up are how-tos. What's cracking, gang? It's your little homie, Warren G-Body. And we still up in the rock shop. Yes, sir, gang. Welcome back. Part 2 of the Malibu electrical build, I guess we can call it. The wiring harness and trunk battery relocation, just anything dealing with electrical. That's what we're gonna be doing in this whole series. This will be part 2. I've been out here for a minute all day looking for stuff, man, messing with the Elko. We've been firing her up, just letting her eat. But yeah, gang, we also been out here messing around, getting all the electrical together and safe. You feel me? In part 1, I showed how I was making these lines up, and these are super secure. The fuse is out, but there's something that I wasn't paying attention to, gang, and I didn't realize I had the battery. I think I had the battery positioned in here in a way where the Optima tag read correctly, but I want the battery flipped around so all the connections are towards this way, and then I can hide all the wires as they come up instead of having them up front. You see what I mean? So what I'll end up doing, gang, is when I get the new battery, is I'll peel the sticker off and just turn it around. But yeah, but what we're working on in this video, gang, we're still waiting for the Ron Francis to show up. It's just UPS, man, to take forever. But yeah, we're waiting for the Ron Francis to show up. I'm hoping that'll be here tomorrow. Is Wednesday. And of course, it probably won't be here till like 7 p.m. But once we get the Ron Francis, we can lay it out. I'll have all this cleared out. We can lay the Ron Francis out, start connecting all the wires, and then start, running everything out, where it needs to be. That's what I learned when I was doing the Ron Francis for this setup over here. We also have the Alex Tech coming and all that stuff, but I have a ton of this brand new in packages. So I try to keep stuff in here, like an installation shop. You feel me? Plenty of wire loom, butt connectors, end connectors, just everything that I need to get whatever job it is that I want to get done. I try to have it and stock it up. Amazon love me. But yeah, gang, so we've been out here, man. We also been working on the fuel flow setup, gang. PTFE line, PTFE line, PTFE line, PTFE line. That's the return line. We also got some push to lock line. That's and everything is meant for E85. But yeah, so it's kind of like I'm doing a dual thing today, because once I get this section cut out, I'll be able to hang the fuel pump and then start running the wiring for that. The cool thing is that the fuel pump ground will be short. The power is going to come from up front all the way to the back. So having all this cut out and being able to fish it where I need it to go will be pretty nice. I need to order the plate for this right here because I'm cutting all this out. And my boy was like, no, I'll put the battery down in there. But the problem is see, this pump, it's going to hang off the side of the frame, and there's no room because this is in the way. So we're going to cut that out, clean it all up underneath, and of course it'll be interior will be dynamotic, and we will have the undercarriage just getting done the whole 9. So yeah, gang, but that's what we've been doing. We also got the Elko parts are going back in the L for now. Still a mock-up, gang, still a mock-up. You feel me? Because I needed the space where all those parts were to get this out. So we got the gut at the rear. We're going to get these seats out, get that dash out. And yeah, so let me get after it. Now that I got this loomed up, I'm going to go ahead and run it. Now, I won't be able to run this. I wanted to run this. For the startup, I'll be able to run it. But when we get to the final, this piece here, because I turned the battery around, that piece needs to be cut longer. So we'll just get another piece, cut it longer, or we might get lucky, and when we get to the end of this piece, have a nice lengthy piece for me to cut run up and, you know, run it real clean. So at first I had it set up where it went here. For the fire up, I'll probably have the battery, you know, flipped around. That way I can just run it straight, keep it moving. But for the final boss and the final look, it'll be flipped around, so you won't see any wires up front here. They'll all be back behind. But yeah, gang, let me get after it, start running this, and I'll bring you guys back in a second. Yes, sir. All right, we faded back in, gang. So what we got to do now is I want to drill right there at the bottom, not here, but the other corner over there at the bottom, and then put a grommet in there. So I already got the grommet wrapped around. I got the drill out. We're gonna drill it, just drill a little bit at a time until I get the desired hole. Pop the grommet in there and then run this wire through the grommet and then along the edge there. So yeah, let me get after that and I'll bring you guys back in. Yes, sir. All right, gang, there we go. We got them through the grommet. I should have drilled it a little bit lower. All good. Now we can fish it, you know, going that way and keep it moving. Now, I said I love Alex Tech, but in the non-viewable areas, I like to use, you know, the stronger stuff and then wrap it in tape. So usually what I'll do is, as I'm wrapping it, I'll leave a little red so I know this is power, but I'll know that's power. I might just run down a couple of red heat shrink. That way I know this is definitely, you know, power wire. I also need to run the ground. The ground I'm not really worried about, you know, arcing or nothing like that. So when I get the ground, I'll just run it along with this and keep it moving. So, but there it is, gang. I might just drill out right next to it. See, I got a hole right there. And then I can go ahead and run it all the way up front. Yes, sir. All right, y'all, let me get to it. You got to want this, man. This is 100 degrees in here. Mosquitoes is biting me up. And it was a pain in the butt to get that through there. But we got it done. All right, y'all. All right, gang, we back in. Yeah, that's going to be more. I kind of just draped it up to see how far up we make it. Yep, that'll be more than enough to make it up. We got to do, I'm going to take a quick break, head up to Harbor Freight, pick up some more electrical tape so I can wrap this up. And then, or I might just leave it so I know that that's ready. But I don't know because it's going to be running into the panel. We got to figure out where the panel is going to go. Not sure where I want to run the panel. If I want to put the panel here, have it come in, around, boom, connect in, and then everything go down and out. You feel me? Or have it run down, come up. See, that's where I'll need more line, a longer line. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to run it that way. As you try to run it and tuck it and run it, you need extra length so you can make, you know, all those bends and corners and stuff. We'll see, man. But right now, because I brought it up, that's going to give me more footage because it'll actually be going down. But yeah, so there it is, gang. I'm going to head up here, grab something to eat, some electrical tape, and we'll be back on it shortly. Yes, sir. And we back in with the detox boo. All right, y'all. Next day, late start. Your boy was up all night. All night long researching. It's what I love to do, man. I love learning. You feel me? And breaking it down to where I can understand it and then applying it. So, yeah. But there it is. UPS showed up. Let's crack it open. This is my favorite wiring kit. Oh, yeah. This is my favorite wiring kit, gang. Oh, yeah. Let's get this guy cracked open. Oh, yeah. See, this is the whole thing about this kit is that it makes it seem intimidating, especially when you crack open these instructions. When you crack these open, I just give you a little, see, it looks intimidating, but it really isn't, man, because I think they could have did a little bit better on the instructions, though. But the kit is badass. And every 6 inches, you get, you know, labels telling you what each one is. Oh, yeah, we're going to put this to use. I'm going to use this right now until I get the distribution block. I have a whole diagram. I'll break it out, little crude drawing of a diagram of how this whole electrical system is going to flow. The first part I needed to get, of course, done was the power leading up to the engine bay. We still need to drill the hole out up front so I can get it through. I can't get that damn door open, so that's what's holding that up. But once we get that hole drilled, you know what? I'll just go through the engine bay. Yeah, I'll just go through the engine bay. Or I'll climb over the seat and drill the hole out. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Yeah, we'll get the hole saw for that and get that going because I want a pretty big, big hole there. So we'll get that going, gang. I'm going to get this whole situation situated, and I'll bring you guys back in a second. Yeah. Well, while I got you here right now, let's check this guy out. This is the main star. Yeah. What we got? What's going on? I'm trying to do this all one-handed. Oh, yeah. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, that's clean. That's clean, gang. That's real clean. So this one has the Ron Francis that my club bro Jerry did. And then this old guy, the OG, the dinosaur. Yeah. See, he good to go as well. I did all of this in here. And the one thing I like about this kit is that you plug your wires in. You put everything in, you can run everything a little bit more custom. Her 79 has an American Auto Wire kit, and the way that kit is set up is that all the wires come out the bottom like a tree branch. You feel me? Because it's a universal kit, it presents a problem for the G-bodies because the G-body firewall is short and the fuse panel is mounted down low. Well, if you have that panel, what happens is that branch that comes out, you have to now loop it back up and around itself. And it just wasn't real clean the way I wanted it. But you can see in there that you can now run all your wires how you want it. And then, for a more cleaner setup. Now, I was going to get the painless kit. And I think the painless kit, what it does is it utilizes your stock location, and then the wires all come out the back behind it. So it's like a straight shot, which is a lot cleaner. Then you send over your steering column, your radio and all that stuff, AC and everything goes that way. And then straight back, you send all your stuff for your tail lights and all that stuff for the rear. But yeah, so this one is a little bit more detailed, and I just love the way it looks. It has something that's called selective fuse. So, like, I'll use the Monte Carlo. The Monte Carlo doesn't have a steering column. So, if I want to check all my switch sources, I can take these fuses and move them over to right here on this side. And now that allows current to flow through as if I had the key turn. You feel me? But yeah, gang, let me get after this. And let me get after this game. Oh, one other thing, man, on the fuel side of things. This is my sending unit. I forgot the name of the company I got this from. This is old. I've had this as long as I've had the Malibu. As a matter of fact, I remember I lost the return tube because it has the feed. See, they even label it for you. They have the feed, the return, and then this is the vent. So, and on the return tube goes right here. But I guess I lost it. So what I'm doing on hers, because we're doing external, I'm using the feed as the return. You see what I mean? I just capped that off. This one's capped off. So yeah. It's a pretty clean little setup. It's kind of pricey. I think it was like $200 back then. But yeah, gang. So today we're gonna get that cracking, and we're gonna get the gas tank out. Start cleaning that out. It's got a lot of sand up in it and dirt up in it from when it got powder coated. But yeah, shout out to Chili P Performance. But yeah, gang, let me get after it. That ground cable looking good. Yes, sir. Let me get after it. I'll bring you guys back in a second. Yes, sir. All right, gang, we back in. Drilled a couple of more holes out. Right there, let me zoom in. Yeah, we got a couple more grommets in there. Yeah, a couple more grommets in there. Also, gang, I drew up a diagram, man. You gotta have a plan. You got to have a game plan. So the other diagram I have has both positive and negative how I'm routing everything on one paper, but I decided to break them out, and this is how my grounds are going to be ran, right? But this is why my stuff be taking so long, man. But without a plan, man, you just, you know what I mean? You got to have a game plan or something in place to kind of help you out. So as you can see here, this is going to be off the battery in the trunk. And then we got the 0 gauge going to the frame. Then we have, I didn't mark what that is, 6 gauge. We got 6 gauge that's gonna run out to the fuse panel. All right, that's gonna be inside, not the Ron Francis fuse panel, but the 2 fuse panels I like to add. You know those little, you can't see it in here, but I have them in here as well. So I run ground to that straight from the battery, all right? And what that does is that'll give me a nice strong ground that comes in that I can tap in off of the battery. I think it comes with 12 different ways you can ground. So I run 6 gauge ground into it, and then I jump over to another panel. So now both of those panels are grounded, and then you'll see what these panels do on the power side. Then we got 0 gauge that runs off the battery terminal, goes through the firewall, and then goes up to a distribution block. And from that distribution block, we're going to have 4 gauge that goes to the driver head, 4 gauge that goes out to the passenger head, 4 gauge that goes to the engine block, and then 4 gauge that goes into the firewall. So everything up front is grounded lovely. Off the frame, I'm also going to have the block grounded to the frame as well. So from this distribution block to the block, from the frame to the engine block, you see what I mean? So now we're well grounded. We're also going to have grounds back here. I'm going to ground from the battery to the frame back here as well. So we are grounded all back here. The body's going to get grounded as well. So I just didn't draw those in there. It's going to be from the battery to the actual panel, like up underneath, ground right to the body. So the body gets grounded. The body will be grounded. The frame will be grounded. The block is going to be grounded. You feel me? So that takes care of all my grounds. Now, when you get to the power, this is a 12 volt side. So we'll start with the bottom one. So off the battery, you go through the first little block, that's the fuse. That guy right there, that's going to protect that wire circuit. And that 0 gauge goes all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. And then it goes into a distribution block right here, all right? And off that distribution block, 4 gauge is going to run out to the starter. Then 4 gauge is going to run, 0 gauge is going to run from there out to this block, this mega fuse, all right? So the power runs through and out over here to the alternator. So 0 gauge is running out to the alternator. Then that little line right there that's in between those 2 fuses, that drops power down to that second block. And then that goes out to the panel. This wire right here. That wire is going straight to the panel. So then we have this second circuit that's running off the battery through another fuse. And then that runs up, and that's going to be 6 gauge. And that runs all the way up to that panel right there. That is constant 12 volts. So if I ever need to catch 12 volt power that's constant, I can have it from there instead of running all the way over here and taxing that panel for little small stuff. You feel me? I can grab it off of here. Then you see this other one that says switch 12 volt. That ties into the Ron Francis. When I turn the key, that powers up that fuse panel. And the cool thing is that this one As I'm turning the key, the power doesn't drop out. It stays hot. It might go from 12 volts down to 11 or 10.5, but it does not drop out. That's where the Terminator X Max gets tied into that, because it needs constant 12 volt as your constant 12 volt switch power. So as you're turning the key, the power doesn't just turn off. Some of the circuits on the Ron Francis, when you turn the key, it kills power, and then as soon as the car starts, boom, it goes live. You can't have that with the Terminator X Max. It has to be continuous through the starting cycle. Then you see here off the side terminals, we have the 12 volt and negative straight from the battery going to the Terminator X Max. So that's what I'm saying, man. I have to set it up where I can just easily, follow along on the little directions. So that's why I put the extra holes in there so I could run the Terminator X Max. And those will be labeled. You feel me? Those will be labeled what they are, as far as what wire this is, what wire that is, what wire that is. So right next to it, I'll have it written in paint pen. But yeah, gang, there it is. So we still moving and grooving. Let me get back to it. Had to take a little break, and decided to go ahead and just draw these up. And anybody that knows me, man, they know I got so many schematics and drawings and more drawings and drawings. That's how I, you feel me, learn how to get an understanding of what it is that I'm trying to do. The fuel system, same thing. Hell, even some gardening stuff I had to do for the wifey. She wanted a drip system put in, so I drew it all out from the hose bit, blah, blah, blah. She was like, oh, that's just like your fuel setup. I said, yeah, exactly. I just gives me a better understanding of how the flow. And you'll see, I'll put little arrows telling me how the current, which direction the current is flowing. So you see that current is going out that way. This current is going this way. See what I mean? But yeah, gang, let me get back to it. I think what I'm going to start now, I'm going to start running some of these wires, and then I'm going to end the video. But yeah, we live now, gang. We getting work done, and we moving forward. But all right, y'all, fading it out. All right, gang, we getting our little workstation set up, and of course it's windy now. But I try to get as much together as possible to make the job easier. I get all my supplies. I got different types of, wire nuts. I got different, just many different styles of wire ends. Plenty of heat shrink, dielectric grease, multiple tapes. So I got the cloth tape, which I finish it off with, and we got plenty of regular electrical tape. Stuff to test the wires, stuff to join wires together. And this is that style that you heat up and it puts the little, connection in there. We got butt connectors to keep it safe. We got other ways to connect join wires together to test. More butt connectors, heat shrinkable. All the necessary tools. This is so I can crimp down real good. The hydraulic crimper. Plenty of zip ties in multiple colors, sizes, and lengths. You feel me? Dielectric grease. A clean little work spot. We want to cut the big cable. And then I got not exactly what I need, but plenty of wire loom to get it cracking. So I got my diagrams. But right now, we're focused. We got this right here ran. This one here off the battery, through the fuse and up to the engine bay. We got that one ran. I don't have the distribution block, so what I'm going to be using until I get it is this guy right here. This came in a Ron Francis kit. So this will just bring the power up to the front so I can get it to the starter. So I'm just going to have one run, the 0 gauge, running to here, and then the 0 gauge from here down to the starter. We're not going to have the alternator, none of that, because we don't have a front pulley set up for it. But just to get it, I'll be able to, and then we can run the purple wire from the Ron Francis down. So that's why, gang, we are populating right now. So all my bags laid out. I got my instructions for each bag. We got these guys right here. Oh, that reminds me, I need to get, what is this gonna take? Once I crack this bag open, it'll tell me. I think this is gonna take up probably on here. Yeah, I need to get me a Phillips and a flathead. You see, just getting all your tools and stuff ready. Trying to just have everything available to you, man, so you can just knock it out. In the past, I've just started and then I'll spend 15, 20 minutes looking for this, 15, 20 minutes looking for that. Before you know it, man, you're 3 hours into the project and you ain't got nothing done. So, yeah. So let me finish getting all my tools together. And then, and keeping the workspace clean as possible. But, yep, we getting ready to get it cracking. A few more things to grab and get me a screwdriver. And I might get one of those little multi-bit style where you can just change the bit out and keep it moving, or just have one with different bits in it, have 3 different ones with 3 different bits and keep it moving. So one that'll fit that bit, one that'll fit these bits. You see what I mean? So there it is, gang. Let me get to it. And something else I like to do, gang, is any wire that I create, I like to check for continuity to make sure that the wire is good. So I'll put it on one of those settings and I'll tap the 2 prongs together and I'll hear a beep. That lets me know that the circuit is complete. Well, I'll do the same with the wiring. So once I terminate the end on this side, I'll touch this with one, the other side with the other, to see if I get that continuous beep. And then there's another one, I do an ohm reading to see how much resistance is in that wire. So if this wire is 3 feet, I should get a certain reading to let me know that that's a good wire. You feel me? So yeah, I learned that from doing the spark plug wires on the 79. I had to cut the wires to length and terminate them in the whole 9. So, but there it is, gang. Let me get to it and I'll bring you guys back in as we move forward to get this terminated. Yes, sir. All right, gang. So the first bag I opened up is the column and dash ignition connections. So, let me weight these down. Yeah, so all I'm gonna do now is figure out which one I'm gonna use. This one right here is for a special one. And I can't see the screen. There we go. Yeah. This one I'm not gonna be using, so we'll put that one back in the bag. But this guy right here, yeah, this guy, I can't see the screen, y'all. There we go. This guy right here, I'll be using. And I'll be just following the instructions. Following the instructions and keeping it moving. But yeah, so the first thing I'm gonna do is this right here. I can't see the screen, so hopefully my fingers in the viewfinder. But yeah, gang, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna hit blue, orange, red, brown, just as it says here. We're gonna get it cracking. All right, y'all, let's get it. All right, gang, with this kit, these wires are terminated for you already, meaning they have the little ends. You see how that's where my thumb is? See where that little tang is? What that tang is gonna do, gang, is that you're gonna push it in from this side. See how this side is flat? That's the side that's gonna engage into where you're trying to plug it into. But see how this has that little, a little notched area? There's a little notched area in each one of these little squares. See, like look right there. That's where you would take a pick if you wanted to remove this. You wanted to remove it. But what you do is you set it up like the diagram. So the diagram has it where the 3 are on top, then it's like diagonal. So that's how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to follow it that way. I'm going to press each wire in according to the colors. It tells you. Blue goes on that first one. Nothing's going to occupy the second one. The third one's going to be orange. The middle one's going to be red. You see what I mean? And then when you plug that into the column is already set up. So you have to buy a specific kit for, like, this is a GM column. If this was a Ford setup, it wouldn't work. You see what I mean? So you got to buy this kit based off of, what it is that you're putting it in. These are GM columns, so boom. Or if I was to buy like an I Did It column, I would buy the I Did It column based off of GM wiring setup. So, but also, gang, these videos are not how-tos. None of the videos I put up are how-tos. My original page back in like 05, 04, back then, that was a how-to page. But now all I do is just turn on the phone and start recording. Hey, this is what we on today. You feel me? So I don't do the how-tos anymore. I cut that out a long time ago. what you get is, what you see is what you get. We turning the camera on and we working. So yeah, gang, but yeah, let me get back to it. There it is. We just setting it up as it is on the diagram, and that's it. And then we're gonna start terminating, putting these on the ends, and then connecting them here. Another cool thing about the Ron Francis is the wire, the color. See what I mean? They give you multiple ways to not mess this up. You got what each wire is labeled on the wire, and then the tag tells you, and then it's numbered and it's colored. So this will tell you this goes to number 5. I believe it's even on the wire. Yeah, number 1, ignition. So number 1 should be, I think this is gonna be orange. Let me see here. Yeah, see? This is orange and that's ignition. So that tells you right where it goes. I thought they had like the numbers on them as well, but they don't. But yeah, right here it tells you, the diagram will tell you number 5, you know, is red. Number 6 is brake switch is orange, so forth and so on. So they try to make it where there's multiple ways to follow the instructions and not get mixed up and caught up. All right, y'all. All right, gang, I started, you know, putting some in the steering column setup, and all I did was just line this up how they had it in the diagram and start pushing them, you know, in. This is the side that plugs into the steering column. This is the side the wires go in. Now on each wire on the end here that they already pre-terminated for me, so you don't have to worry about it. See that little tang right here where my thumb is? That little piece that's popped out? That piece needs to ride along. There's a notched area inside of each one of these where you push it in. You make sure that that is that little groove notch area. As you're pushing that in, it's going to get to a flat spot inside of this terminal. That way, when you go to plug it in, when the wire tries to push back, this piece here rests on that little flat area that's on the bottom of that groove, and it won't allow the wire to push back out. So there it is. We got our first setup terminated, gang. I'm going to cut the video here. You see what it is. We getting it cracking. Everything is in. Got all my supplies. We're just going to start, you know, terminating and getting everything where it needs to go. I need to figure out how I'm going to mount this. See, in this kit, when I bought this kit many years ago, it came with the little setup right there. It came with that whole little mounting plate. Either they forgot to put it in or they just stopped doing it, because this one didn't have it either. Or my man Jerry just didn't put it in the kit with me. So I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna get this mounted to the firewall and keep it where no, you know, debris and smoke and whatever, gas smell, fumes or whatever gets inside the cabin. Because right now there's a big hole in the firewall where the old one went. But yeah, gang, there it is. I'm gonna end the video, man. Thanks for riding along with your little homie Warren G-Body up in the rock shop, repping 80s and most definitely keeping the Chevy.